don't know yet. Pretty good little bit out there last in college.
Huh? Yeah, I wasn't out there. Mackenzie was. But it looked like the
It was a great event, very great. I was beside myself impressed. But that's the kind of stuff with kids. They like to
Hey, Gracie.
horrible. Huh?
sharp.
Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. Supervisor Tyler.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, we pray this day for your ever-enduring guidance. We ask you to focus in wisdom and fortitude, that we may disperse our knowledge and facts intelligently among all humanity whom we serve. Amen. Thank you for coming, everybody, and we're going to start off with the announcement of items discussed in closed session.
The board met in closed session to discuss public employment pursuant to Government Code 54954.5, county council, county administrative officer, and for public employee discipline, dismissal, or release. The closed session has been continued to the end of the public session.
We'll move on to agenda approval, additions and or deletions. Anybody from the public like to comment on this item before we take the vote? Seeing none, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Chair votes aye. Passes unanimous. Okay, we'll move to public comment. This is the time, if anyone would like to comment on anything, you have an opportunity to do so. You will have another opportunity to do so if you're here for a specific agenda item. If you want to wait till that time, or feel free to come up at this time. I'm going to begin. We have a couple of cards. If you did want to comment and you haven't filled out a card, once we go through these people, just raise your hand and the chair will recognize you to speak. Okay, first will be Ron Wood.
Morning. My name is Ron Wood. I'm a business owner in Lassen County in Susanville, and I have a problem right now we need to address concerning the budget with the Sheriff's Department. I have given you a document today that has 3 exhibits to it. One is the Lassen County Times letter to the editor that went in the paper today, in case you missed it. The other one's a handout on the California Penal Code Section 831 on correctional officers, and also there's a copy of the letter that was put in the paper from Ruth Ellis on February 11th. My subject today is the Sheriff's Department receiving additional funding to hire 4 correctional officers. On January 24, 2014, the Sheriff's Department appeared before the Board of Supervisors, requested $85,000 additional funding to hire 4 correctional officers. Given the county's current budgetary problems, every request, even the sheriff's current budgetary practices, should be scrutinized more closely. Several administrative assistants and other free staff employees employees employed by the Sheriff's Department are receiving full pay and benefits as correctional officers and are not legally qualified and therefore deemed exempt from working inside the Lassen County Detention Facility as correctional officers. The current sheriff did not create this particular process. It appears to be a long-standing unwritten policy to promote administrative assistants and other free staff employees to correctional officer status simply to facilitate for higher pay rate and enhance retirement benefits. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, I'm just going to address it. First question I have is how many special class correctional officers, administrative assistants, and other free staff employees currently employed by the Sheriff's Department are receiving full pay and benefits as correctional officers, but are not legally qualified and therefore deemed exempt from working inside the Lassen County Detention Facility as correctional officers. Again, I'm not going to go through all this. The certain training required for correctional officers in the state of California under the Board of Corrections, the jail under Penal Code Section 831C, that's your exhibit number 2, it explains that the correctional officers are trained to work in the jail and there are certain requirements. I believe for a fact that the administrative assistants are not, have not received that training as required. And so we're allowing the sheriff to come in and ask for additional money to hire COs. He has COs that are working out of the classification, but they're assigned CO status. And again, just for the pay purposes. These perks offered by the Sheriff's Department are having a considerable impact on the annual budget as well as the county finances. The practice obscures the actual real need of the Sheriff's Department for working correctional officers, giving a limitation to who have unjustly assumed this classification. I respectfully request that the board place the promotion issue on the county agenda in order to address the many questions that have been raised. Now, I have several questions here. Like I said, I just noticed I'm only allowed the 3 minutes, so I'm not going to go through them all. But again, I'm asking the board, Chairman, that we put this on the agenda so maybe we can sit there and look at why we're allowing, we approved $85,000 to the Sheriff's Department to hire 4 COs, and they already got the COs. They're just not qualified to be COs, but they have the classification as it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wood, for bringing this, and as you know, it is public comment, we can't have too much of a back and forth, but what I would like to suggest, if it's the pleasure of the board, if our council and administrator would respond to this, and maybe with the input from the Sheriff's Department, respond to Mr. Wood, copy the board on the response, and after that time, we'll take it up as if we think it needs to be agendized or not, but we will respond to this, and we'll...
Will that be at another meeting, Chairman?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'd like to, hopefully that can be done within the next 10 days, get a response with the help of the sheriff.
We can probably address this today, Mr. Chairman, because we have this topic on agenda for the allocation. We can probably address this when we get to the agenda piece.
Well, you'll have an opportunity to talk about it some more when it comes up as an agenda item.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Richard?
My name is Richard St. Peter, and I'm a Director Emeritus of Lassen College Foundation, and I'm here to follow up from a prior discussion that I had with the board a couple of months ago. We have a request for the board that they consider joining in a 2-for-1 scholarship matching program that's sponsored by the Lassen College Foundation. And the way this program works is that if you put in $1, the foundation will put in 2 for a graduate of one of the high schools in the districts that you would want to give this award to. The minimum amount we're asking for is $156, which would result in a $500 scholarship, and the maximum is $1667, which would result in a $5,000 scholarship. The Lassen College Foundation will put in the $2 you put in the 1. The foundation doesn't need to or require or request to be recognized during this award, which would be given normally at senior high school graduation or award ceremony. and we're hoping each of you board members will consider this. You get to determine the criteria for the award that you would want to give out. You get to select the winner, and the administration is done through the high school. All we're asking is that you open up your checkbook and contribute to this and honor a student that's graduating. If you have further questions about this, you can get to me through Jim Chapman. He has my number, and I hope to hear from each of you. You need an agricultural scholarship, you need a leadership scholarship, and so forth, and you get to pick the high school that you would want to work with. Any questions?
Thank you, appreciate you bringing it up, and maybe we could get there. Yeah. Thank you very much. Gracie Claypool. How are you?
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Morning, Chairman and Supervisors. I'm Gracie Claypool, and this summer, July 2nd through the 21st, I will be representing Lassen County as a People-to-People Student Ambassador in Australia. People-to-People is a great program that challenges us in ways we've never been exposed to. Working with the Australian government, snorkeling in the Great Barrier Reef with our very own biologists, bringing supplies for the local Australian kids, and then we get to go to school with them, so it's a very cool experience. It's not a vacation. We don't at all. We work our butts off the whole entire time. When I get back, I will receive high school credits for this. So I mean, the whole entire time, it's until we wake up at about 6 and we go until 10. So we're go the whole entire time. So with that, I would like to inform you guys about a couple fundraisers I'm doing. On March 1st at the MCA building from 4:30 p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. I will be doing a taco salad dinner. Also, Lake 4-H and I have joined together to do a corned beef and cabbage dinner on March 17th at the Janesville Fire Hall from 5 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. And there will also be a drawing at the Children's Fair for a quilt. And I have some flyers for you guys.
You might want to talk to Mr. Hancock sitting in the audience since he was born and raised in Australia.
I have. Yes, well, thank you very much for your time, and I just wanted to come and inform everyone of this amazing opportunity that I have. There's also another kid from Diamond View who will be going with me too. So I just wanted to let you guys know that we do have kids that are representing Lassen County, and this is a very it's a great opportunity for us to go out and explore and learn new things, and just a very cool experience.
How much money, if I could ask you a question, how much money do you need to raise between now and December?
The total cost is $8,000 for me to go. I'm about halfway now. So I'm hoping with these three fundraisers, I can raise enough money to get me there. So.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jeff, and good luck, and I'm sure you will succeed and reach your goals, and, very good experience.
Gracie, when you leaving? If you go?
When she goes. She's
When
going.
she goes.
July
I
2nd.
didn't want to put words in your mouth.
July 2nd. Yep. And then I return on the 21st.
Gracie, would it be possible after you come back from Australia, if you come back and report back to the board on what was over there?
Most
That'd be very
definitely.
interesting.
I plan on doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to talk under public comment? Oh, sorry. Hi.
Sounds like you caught a fish. Hi, my name is Iona McCain, and thank you for letting me come before the board and recognizing me. What I have to say has to do with the county administrator's office, and I'm very concerned about that position because it carries such a perception of power and influence. And the issue being is that perception might not be the correct way of looking at it, but the perception of impropriety would exist if a county administrator has, we'll say, been involved in a potential county administrator has been involved in anything that the county has relied on their decision, for instance, like a local reuse authority, selling the involvement in selling the wrong property. It shows that that this particular person, if appointed as a county administrator, shows that there has been some things that maybe that individual would need more experience in that position. It's just not something that you start out as we learn, as we go along. It's something that needs a person that has outside experience. Just because an individual is local doesn't mean it always means it's the best individual for that particular job. And if there's an impropriety, if any of you have any kind of business deal with that individual, that's a board supervisor, then that person's going to have to recuse himself and step down from that decision, whatever is involved here. I think it's really a serious thing. This is extra baggage that you don't need. Really, you need to go out and get somebody who is more experienced. Now, I know that there's been something like 5 or 6 other county administrators ever since you started having an administrator since, what, 1986 or 85, somewhere around there. Because we used to have to deal with individual directors of that department in order to be employed. But I really do believe that going outside the community, getting somebody who is not involved in other business activities. Just think, this person is a fantastic rancher, he's a fantastic tax collector. I'm sure he's involved in water allocations with the RCD board. There's so many things that can happen here that you all don't need to deal with. If you guys get to a 2-2 vote or whatever it is, then there's no action. I would really would think that you'd give that situation, or my comments, some serious consideration before you ever appoint another county administrator. I know there's been tough luck in the past. I feel a little bad. In fact, I'm even blushing because I don't like doing something like this, but I feel it has to be a matter of record. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for those comments. We appreciate it very much. Now, let's move on quickly and take up unagenda reports for board members and start out with Supervisor Hammond.
Last week I had a meeting with a member of the Governor's Military Council of Nevada about Sierra Army Depot, and we gained an ally with them. They had no idea at the governor level, at that council level, that Sierra Army Depot does what it does for Washoe County. It turned out to be a very good thing for Furlong and Lassen County. So now we have support at the governor's level in Nevada.
Great. Thank you, Tom. Yeah.
Do we have a California governor?
We do have a California Governor's Council. I asked Richard to get me there somehow, or however you do it, you get me there and I'll be there. So.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Tom shared a little bit of that with me, and I know he was quite excited. He had met with some top
Good ally.
people, and it's really good. And thanks for taking the initiative to do that. I look forward to your next meeting. So that's good.
They're coming.
Yeah, thanks. Bob, did you have anything?
Yeah, I want to donate $200 to the Westwood Resource Center for the nonprofit club, the Westwood Village Acts.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Okay. Mr.
Mr. Chairman, I have five items I'll make brief. First of all is BLM is advertising for a new Northern California Resource Advisory Committee. I sat on the Northeast one, which they have now dissolved. There's used to be a Northwest one that they're doing. Basically, Ukiah, Northern California is a new one is being formed. And I was on there as a representative from this board as an elected official. There's three categories, and Category 3 provides for a local elected official to apply for. So this is the announcement for it, but what I'd like to do is have our next week's, the close of the deadline is like the latter part of March, so it's a short time frame to get the application in. Has to go all the way back through channels. Eventually, the Secretary of the Interior makes the appointment based on recommendation from, I think, the state director and, the BLM management. But anyway, I would like to continue to do that, so if the board would be willing to, write a letter of support, a nomination for that, this would be the time to do it. So I'll give this to Susan, and maybe we can have that on next week's agenda. And there is a letter already about 2 years ago when I was appointed to the Northeast RAC that we could utilize as a template, and I'll work with Regina to get that maybe brought up. I also attended Thursday a meeting, a district advisory committee meeting with the Caltrans director from Reading for District 2, and he gave a pretty good presentation. I wanted to kind of just share, this is the map of the work. There's about $350 million worth of work being done by Caltrans in the coming year, and I'll pass that to, I'll have to get it back, but take a chance to look at it. Probably the most significant project that will be done in Lassen County in the coming year will be the continuation. They came off Bass Hill with Johnsonville, and they're going to continue on 395 out towards Standish and beyond. I think it's 14 miles altogether they're going to be completing, starting probably this year, if not next year. One concern I have, and I don't know if Larry Millar's in the audience or not, but one of the questions I came up, I know you have some rehab work that you're proposing for Center Road on 827, kind of from Brockman Slough out towards the prison. What will happen when they do the work on this section of 395? Most people are going to want to find alternative ways to get, east to west, and so they'll probably use, Center Road as the alternative, and so we don't want to be doing the two projects at the same time.
Right.
So be aware of that. He said they would try to, check on that. Excuse me. I got allergies too. Next thing I had is the Junior Fishing Derby is coming up on April the 19th. It's going to be the 25th annual Junior Fishing Derby. The county, along with the city, has been a co-sponsor in the past. So Susan, here's a letter from the Sportsman Club that gave me to pass on to get the county sponsorship. So if that could be put on the consent calendar for next week, it's a formality. We basically provide insurance coverage. Then this coming Thursday will be the CSAC board meeting in Sacramento. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to attend in person, but I will be weighing in based on a conference call. They allow for that to do it, but they've got a couple items coming up that will be of interest, and I'll report back next week. But they'll be taking a position, Proposition 41. And then they have the realignment allocation committee, and I'm not sure if the sheriff is here in the hall, and John, but I tell you, they'll be talking about how the AB 109 monies will be allocated, and I'm not sure if you guys have got the latest copies of what they're proposing, and maybe you might even be interested in listening to this particular conversation. I can get you the call-in information if you want to, or maybe we could set up and listen to it over at the conference room at Root Street. But I think that's probably the most significant thing being on here. And then another additional item will be a report on the state prison overcrowding in the current court case. So those two items are kind of in conjunction, I think, of great importance to the county. And finally, Tim Purdy, who has been promoting the 150th anniversary, came by the other day and asked me to bring these. This is a calendar that he produces for the Alumni Association as a fundraiser, but this year he devoted it to the history of the county. So on there are dates
throughout the year, but if you look at it, there's a date as to what happened, you know, significant on that date sometime in the last 150 years. So he wanted me to, knowing that the county has now formed a committee and so forth, he thought it would be good if the board wanted to follow day by day, you know, historic events that took place over the last 150 years. So,
That was really nice of them to do
so
that.
I told him I would pass that on to you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Mr. Alba?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, got Jim's passing off over to me. Anyway, I think it was last Thursday, I went up to, my son wanted me to go with him over to Lassen College. They had their Discover Lassen College Day. And I really gotta say kudos to Lassen College. That was a phenomenal deal where they took all the high schools from the surrounding areas. Lassen High was there, Westwood High, Chester, Big Valley, Cedarville, Lassen, I think Modoc, all the high school kids went to, freshmen through seniors. We got to go around and see all the departments. They had little things to do in each department. It was just a very, very neat deal. It was very classy, and kudos to them. I mean, I was very impressed. The Coyote Drive up in Maiden that was so controversial last year, they went ahead and had it again this year. It was another good success. Well, hopefully I'll have more information for you in the coming meetings when they get all their survey stuff put together. And I think this week, correct me if I'm wrong, Richard, is National FFA Week.
I should know the answer to that,
You should. Anyway, I'd like to acknowledge that as well.
Chris has confirmed it.
Oh, sweet, thank you.
They've already been through the door, so, yeah.
And then I would like to designate $1,000 from my discretionary fund to the Big Valley Historical Museum. They had a rupture in their heating system and kind of had a big mess to clean up between them and the library, et cetera. So donate that money to help bring it back to them. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Eric. I don't have much, but quickly, normally we would have had our coordination council meeting last night with the holidays, so we'll Supervisor Pyle and myself will be there this evening at 6:30, and then of course we have the pool. Looking forward to the pool, the JPA at 3. Unfortunately, I was away for the last one, so I think things are moving along quickly, and I'm excited for 3 o'clock to roll around and get back engaged with that. So with that, thank you, board members, for those reports. Let's move on to our 10 o'clock item D2, recognition committee presentation. Are you going to announce who?
Oh, sure. I guess we'll start with Kendra Lancaster from Lassen.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, we'll read it again. It's for Kendra Lancaster. And it says, in appreciation for your 10 years of employment with the County of Lassen, we, the Lassen County Board of Supervisors, would like to take this opportunity to present you with a certificate of recognition. Thank you for your time, effort, and commitment.
I can take it to her.
Okay.
I just want to say Kendra is a fantastic employee. She is reliable. She has the responsibility of managing the foster care, adoptions assistance, the casework for children that have been removed from their parents and placed outside. And it's a very important task to keep on top of those placements and the money that we're paying. There's a significant amount of money involved in taking care of kids out of the home. Kendra has recognized the significance of the work and has built strong relationships with Children and Family Services and probation, and I'm very grateful for her.
Thank you. Thanks for those words.
Next we have Jeffrey Reed from the Sheriff's Department.
Thank you, Jeffrey. This is a 10-year certificate of recognition, and I'll read again. I normally get through these without too many mistakes because they're all repetitive. It's those long ones there that are trouble. In appreciation for your 10 years of employment with the County of Lassen, we, the Lassen County Board of Supervisors, would like to take this opportunity to present you with a certificate of recognition and thank you for your time, effort, and commitment. Thank you very much.
I can. I've had the opportunity to work with Jeff for the last little over a year since going into the jail as a correctional officer, and then more recently as the acting watch commander on some shifts. And I can't say enough about what he does for us and for the community. Any task I give him, without question, he takes it and does 100% more for us. So I really appreciate it, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to actually publicly acknowledge what he does, because I don't get the opportunity to do that as much as I need to. So thank you.
I'm going to say something real quick if you don't mind. All right, so I worked with Jeff since he started 10 years ago, different capacities, but you know, oftentimes when people think about the sheriff's office, they think about the deputies on patrol, but the sheriff's office is much bigger than that. We have a much bigger mission than just serving and protecting out on the streets, and it takes people with a high level of commitment and dedication to our department and public safety to work in that jail every day. You know, it's not a great environment working in custody. You know, you're working around offenders all the time, and we have to meet all their constitutional obligations and so on. It takes a special kind of person. Jeff does a great job for us. I really appreciate his commitment to the department and our people, and I'd like to congratulate him on his tenure. So, thanks, Jeff.
Next we have Ina Jimenez.
For the official record, it's Dina.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? I'm honored to present you with this 10-year certificate of recognition, whereas in appreciation for your, and it's, I'll just say again, Ina Jimenez. In appreciation for your 10 years of employment with the County of Lassen, we, the Lassen County Board of Supervisors, would like to take this opportunity to present you with a certificate of recognition and thank you for your time, efforts, and commitment. Thank you. Thank you very much.
If I could just add to that. I'm very proud of Vina, and I am grateful for the time, effort, and commitment she gives as our only adult protective services caseworker to investigate allegations of physical, emotional, financial abuse on those that are the most vulnerable in our community that may be isolated, and the dedication that she puts into protecting them and in building cases to put away those individuals that harm them. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Minot.
Hey, John. Hi. Okay, this is John's 20-year certificate of recognition, and where it says, in appreciation for your 20 years of employment with the County of Lassen, we, the Lassen County Board of Supervisors, would like to take this opportunity to present you with this certificate of recognition, and thank you for your time, efforts, and commitment. And thank you, John. I personally appreciate it, and it's been a good getting to know you during my time on the board here. Wish you well. Yeah.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, man.
So I've got a couple things I'd like to say real quick. So John and I, we've worked, we grew up in this department together. He actually has a couple more years than I do. He actually should have gotten his 20 year a little bit ahead of me, but he did decide he wanted to wear blue for a short period of time working at the police department. He was down there about a year and a half, and then, but he bleeds brown, truly. Anyone that knows him knows that to be the case, so he had to come back to the sheriff's office, and we're sure glad that he did. But he's worked as a deputy, a resident deputy down in Hurlong and Doyle, Westwood. Was a deputy out of the headquarters of Susanville, sergeant in a variety of positions, assistant sheriff, and then most recently undersheriff. He served under Sheriff Warren, and now he's serving under me. And the undersheriff's a unique position. You know, if I get taken out tomorrow, he's there to take my place, right? Under the government code, he says he takes my place. Or if I get incapacitated, I I suffer some kind of serious medical condition. It's happened in other counties. Actually, really recently happened in Tulare County, where the sheriff was unable to serve for a period of time, about 6 months. And the sheriff stepped up to the plate and covered it, and I think the sheriff is back in office now, or is back to work now. But that's a unique thing, and I have to have total faith in my undersheriff, and I do in John. You know, he's a hard worker, he's dedicated, you know, he's got the right motivation, and I don't have to worry about any of those things. You know, and more often it's the day-to-day that where I rely on him. Or if I go to town for 2 weeks on vacation with my family, I don't have to worry about, no matter what, I worry a little bit just because I'm the sheriff, but I feel so much better because I have John there for me, watching out for the department, and he understands our priorities. Our priorities are, you know, keeping our own people safe, and keeping the people we serve safe and providing a high level of service. And when you're motivated by those things, the rest comes easy. So John does an outstanding job for our department and for the people of our county. I really appreciate him. I want to recognize his 20 years of hard and dedicated service for our county. So.
Ken, just before I step down, first, obviously, thank you, Sheriff, for the kind words, and thank you more for what I get to do every day. This is as good a job as there is. I also want to take a minute to thank the Recognition Committee and the board. This is an important event because we have plenty of folks out there that like to throw rocks at what government employees do every day. We have plenty of people that really, that'll take their shots at us. This is the one chance, one meeting a month, where the department heads get to come in and say, there really is good work that goes on. Contrary to what some people at the podium say, there's a lot of good work that goes on. So I really appreciate all the work the Recognition Committee does to make sure that the hard work that happens in the county every day gets acknowledged. And I appreciate that the board hosts this meeting every month. If I had my way, I would put every piece of sheriff's business on this meeting, because we know we're going to get some positive. We know there's going to be some good things coming. Last but certainly not least, I appreciate the support of my family all these years. 20 years is a long time, and for a lot of us, we've had so many interrupted Christmases and Thanksgivings and birthdays and kids' school performances because of what we do. And if it weren't for the support of our families, they have to put up with it. They have to take all those shots with all of the rest of us that are out there every day. So I certainly appreciate my wife Gina, our 5 kids, and our 2 new grandkids, because they're still feeling those sacrifices when we have stuff come up. So thank you to the board. Thanks for recognition.
Jay Cheney.
Oh my God, shot at us. You sure did.
Hi, Jay. Yeah, congrats, yeah. 30 years. Quite some time. Awesome. In appreciation for your 30 years of employment with the County of Lassen, we, the Lassen County Board of Supervisors, would like to take this opportunity to present you with a certificate of recognition, and thank you for your time, efforts, and commitment. Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jay's 30 years. He's had several different duties with the road department. He's currently our plane technician. Prior to that, he was in charge of our rock crushing operation, and we were doing that. One thing about Jay, he's always there to do whatever we need, and I can always count on him doing it right, giving us 120%. And I really appreciate all your efforts, Jay, and you're one of the handful that's 30 plus years now, and I think we'll still have a few more years.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you for your help.
Kind of comes in 30 years and you look 45.
I know. Okay, we'll move on to item D3, and that's the proclamation honoring Jerry Bird. Hey, Jerry. Firstly, yeah, on behalf of the board, and I'm sure everybody will want to chime in, it's been a pleasure, meeting you and getting to know you a little bit. It's only been, 3 years or so. But, I certainly appreciate, your willingness to one, help us with the coordination council, and you've been there from the very beginning and have always expressed your willingness and eagerness to help us with those efforts, and you will be missed, but, I kind of envy you a little bit for your transitioning, can't blame you.
Right.
And hopefully I won't be too far behind you, but you've really been a tremendous asset to the community with your work here, so I just wanted to start off with
Thank
that.
you, Larry.
You betcha. Yeah. All right, with that, these are the fun ones, the 6 font, tongue twisters.
Don't they at least give you one that you
Yeah.
can read in bigger font?
Okay, anyhow, there's a proclamation honoring Jerry Bird, well-deserved, I might add, on your retirement as the Lassen National Forest Supervisor. Whereas Jerry Bird retired as the Forest Supervisor of the Lassen National Forest in January 2014 after a 38-year career with the U.S. Forest Service that spanned 3 regions and 6 states and brought him to the Lassen National Forest in 2010. And whereas Jerry Bird began his Forest Service career in 1968 as a seasonal employee in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area wilderness of the Superior National Forest in Region 1 of the Northern Rocky Mountains of Montana. He started his permanent career in the timber management on the Clearwater National Forest in Idaho, and then moved on to the Kootenai National Forest in Minnesota. Eventually moved to the Nez Perce National Forest in Idaho, where he filled a number of roles, including District Ranger on the Moose Creek District. He then moved, that's a lot of moving.
That's the Forest Service.
He then moved south to Missouri, and the District Ranger on the 11-Point District of the Mark Twain National Forest for 5 years before serving as Deputy Forest Supervisor for the Huron Manistee National Forest in Cadillac, Michigan in Region 9. And finally was the Acting Director of Forest Management for Region 8 in Atlanta, Georgia, before coming to Lassen County. And whereas Jerry Bird, upon his arrival in Lassen National Forest, became involved in many aspects of our community, maintaining a positive relationship with 5 local counties, Butte, Lassen, Plumas, Shasta, and Tehama, state and federal representatives and representatives of all interest groups and partners, including the Quincy Library Group. We championed the forest, responding to the Chips and Redding fires in 2012, continuing to lead California's Region 5 with implementation of ecosystem restoration through the use of hazardous fuels reduction and vegetation management programs, both of which in turn maintain jobs, increase community safety, and help communities be better prepared for the eventual wildland fires. And the hardest part is it's a long time to stand in here and keep your gut.
That's right.
So now
we show our age when we stand here this time.
Therefore be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of the County of Lassen that Jerry Bird be commended for his 38 years of service to our nation and the citizens of our county during his tenure with the Lassen National Forest. Wishing him and his wife Kim the best in the years to come as they enjoy their retirement. The foregoing proclamation was adopted at a regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors, County of Lassen, State of California, held on this 18th day of February 2014, Lassonville, California. Again, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, if I could add to, I thought you did very well in your remarks. I've had a chance to work with a number of forest supervisors over the last many years, and I have to say, Jerry, you're one of the finest, individuals that we've had to deal with, and I appreciate you being here and being a part of what you've been able to get going here in the community and helping get the county and the Forest Service really engaged as mutual partners as we deal with resource issues and community issues. And I think a lot of your legacy will be playing out in the years to come, and there'll be a day down the road where everybody's going to say, remember that guy? Anyway, thank you very much for all that you did, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to work with you.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Captain. And thank you very much. You know, the culmination of my career was becoming a supervisor here on the Lassen. And a great deal of that is working with the fine people in Lassen County in Northeast California. It's once in a while you went in the perfect spot in your career, and this is the perfect spot for me. And you know, it just was time for me to call it a career, and I'm glad I'm able to walk out saying that the folks in Lassen County are friends. So thank you very much.
Action requested adopt.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Okay. Would anybody from the public like to comment on this adoption before we take the vote? Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Since we didn't adopt it before you read it, I think you have to reread it now.
Thanks for pointing that out, Bob.
No problem, I'm tired.
You better read it. Almost passed out after reading.
Yeah, with you and not me.
Okay, we're gonna, item D4 is our 10:25 5-minute recess, so we'll do that, and we'll be right back at the table for 10:30 time certain.